The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and flowers, the latter a gift from someone who probably meant well. I lay back against the stiff pillow, listening to the steady beeping of the monitor, each pulse a reminder that I was real, that my illness wasn't imagined. My sister hovered nearby, her hands twitching in small, impatient gestures that I had learned to read over the years. "You always fake being sick," she said, low enough that I almost thought it wouldn't reach me. Almost. I flinched, not at the words, they weren't new, but at the sudden sharpness in her tone, the physicality behind them. She reached out and yanked the monitor cord from the wall. My heart jumped, my own body suddenly feeling heavier, more fragile. The room seemed smaller, air thicker. I wanted to scream, to pull her hand away, but my throat was tight, uncooperative. For a moment, silence. The world contracted around us, the muted hum of machines, the faint hiss of air, the rapid, shallow awareness of my own pulse. Then, from the corridor, footsteps. She had miscalculated. The nurse appeared at the door, her expression precise, professional, unwavering. "You're not leaving," she said. Calm, final. I called the police. The shift was immediate. My sister's face went white, her mouth opening, closing, opening again. The veneer of confidence she had worn moments ago cracked. I watched it happen, noting the way power could reverse in a single breath, entirely external, entirely undeniable. My mother's voice followed, hurried, pleading. "Please, can we just—" Her words faltered against the authority that had entered without warning, without argument. My sister's hands dropped limply to her sides, the tremor in her fingers, a quiet confession. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. I lay back against the pillow and watched the scene unfold. Watching became a way to breathe again, a way to reclaim composure after the chaos of betrayal. I noticed every detail. The nurse's steady stance, the mother's anxious pacing, my sister's shrinking figure. Each motion mapped a subtle realignment of control. 10 minutes passed slowly. Time stretched and contracted in uneven rhythms. I remembered other moments, smaller, quieter betrayals. The way my sister would roll her eyes when I asked for help, the way she questioned the legitimacy of my pain in the past. Each memory was a stitch in a pattern I had barely acknowledged. Now it felt different. External authority had intervened, and yet the emotional fallout remained complex. I didn't feel vindictive satisfaction. I felt measured clarity. I understood the fragility of trust, the tenuousness of familial loyalty, and the quiet weight of being both vulnerable and resilient at the same time. My sister finally spoke, a whisper tangled with disbelief. I didn't think you did." The nurse interrupted, her tone still calm, unshakable. "And now it's being dealt with." My mother's hands covered her face for a moment. I imagined the internal debate she carried, the pull between protecting her child and acknowledging the wrong done. I imagined the weight of guilt pressing down on her chest, the same way my own chest ached with residual tension. I didn't gloat. There was no satisfaction in dominance, no triumph in her collapse. Instead, there was observation, reflection, and a careful recalibration of boundaries I had long ignored. I let the silence settle like a soft, necessary blanket over the room. When the police finally arrived, it was procedural, quiet, efficient, devoid of spectacle. My sister complied, shaken but intact, still recognizably herself, still my sister. I noted the small victory, not in punishment but in acknowledgement. External authority had intervened, and the fragile line between care and mistrust had been enforced without theatrics. Later, lying back against the pillow, I closed my eyes. I felt neither triumphant nor bitter. I felt the subtle shift of power, the restoration of safety, and the lingering uncertainty that relationships once fractured rarely return to their original shape. I understood that the incident would not erase years of tension, nor would it redefine who my sister was entirely, but it had clarified something essential, that betrayal can be contained, that authority can realign imbalance, and that resilience is often measured not in confrontation, but in the quiet reclaiming of one's composure. The monitor beeped steadily, a simple, reliable rhythm. I let it anchor me. Outside, footsteps moved, voices murmured, doors opened and closed. Inside, I breathed, still fragile, still weary, but no longer entirely powerless. Silence fell again, but this time it was not threatening. It was measured, restrained, and quietly reassuring. The room had shifted subtly but unmistakably, and I understood at last that calm clarity could carry more weight than anger, and that some victories need no celebration at all.